just gonna go to a whole bunch of like studios, record label companies. Like, I'm just gonna go in. Who gives a fuck? At this point, I have nothing to lose. I literally have nothing to lose. I have no place. I have no job. I have no children. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Who fucking cares? I'm just gonna do it.
And the winner is Alligator Bites Never Here by Doechii!
If I have 2 days, if I have 24 hours, I'm going to work my hardest to make the best performance because I want to be the best.
It seems like every time a new artist comes out with a hit, they are immediately labeled an industry plant.
If people think you're trash, you're a plant. But if the culture accepts you, you're not a plant, you're just dope.
You're an industry plant. You sound like Nicki Minaj.
What is
you
an
don't have an
industry
original
plant?
You don't have an original. Oh, an industry plant is you got plopped here, you had no previous artist development, you didn't do anything there. They've been funding you since day one, and you never had to put in any real work. But you know what's funny? The internet doesn't lie.
This?
Well, it was redacted.
Golly gee, I'm just sick and tired of these stinking black nematodes being in my precious music. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. Just thinking about it makes me so mad. These industry plants just make garbage music.
Get that unk shit out of here, bro.
Are you serious, my brother?
It disrupts my peace. Why does it have to be a woman? Why can't it be a guy? All these women talk about their private parts and having sex and talk about their feelings. Fucking wet ass P word. Get a grip. You're pushing 35, Cardi B. All this complaining makes me want to watch Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate. God, no one understands.
Shut the fuck up.
I just basically reenacted everyone's true thoughts about the new artist coming into the game. It often comes across as something that should be serious, and how we should just point out brand new artists as industry plants, as if it's a reoccurring issue, let alone an actual issue. What exactly is an industry plant? The most common definition is an artist associated with the label, but appearing as if they are independent and self-made, and an art— fucking Christ, dude, you just shut the fuck up. Industry plants is a term that's used on the internet, and you already know that the internet likes to butcher the meaning of words. But the idea of an industry plant emerges from a deep philosophical tension between authenticity and manufactured success.
Here's the thing, the music industry isn't really about talent, it's about money. Just like most big businesses.
Just straight nonsense. Like, just stop and think for about just a second. What kind of multi-billion-dollar company is gonna put on the time and money and effort into someone with no talent or proven track record? We already agreed that these companies are all about making money. If an artist doesn't have a solid history or potential to bring in profits, then there's no point for them to get into that kind of backing. It's all about the numbers and not just, you know, the buzz. But it's always whenever a black woman or other minority groups that often get criticism for being called an industry plant. Yeah, men often get told that they're a plant, but it isn't as harsh as a woman being called out as a plant.
Everyone, oh, Doechii rant? Oh, dude, don't get me started on that bitch.
Oh yeah, don't get me started off this bitch. Like, my guy, you're soft as baby shit. Go back to dancing, you fucking jester. It's always the one person who is out of touch that feels the need to call out women as a plant. Say some bullshit like, it's not fitting the traditional mold of a female rapper. So why does this accusation disproportionately fall on black women and other minorities? It's because people are inconsistent with what they claim as real. Society expects black artists and especially women to prove their struggle before they are allowed to succeed. There's an ingrained belief that their success must be explained away, as if it couldn't have come from sheer talent, let alone work. White artists with major label support are often framed as hardworking musicians who have made it, but when a black woman rises quickly, that's when the industry plant accusation comes in clutch, because it's more comfortable believing that their success was given and not earned. It all ties back to who society sees as the default artist. Historically speaking, the music industry has been dominated by white men, and when someone outside of that mold rises quickly, people instinctively look for an explanation. Yeah, but she's a woman, and women can't be famous. Like, they don't even realize their own biases, because it's embedded in the way we perceive who belongs in certain spaces, who is allowed to stay and who has to fight to get in the spotlight. Basically, the whole industry plant accusation honestly isn't really about the industry at all. It's about who the world believes deserves success and who it feels the need to justify. Point in case, this fucking tweet. What's even worse is when it's other fan bases making these type of accusations. It's fans who feel entitled to tear down other artists from different backgrounds, often out of frustration that their own favorite artists aren't getting the recognition they deserve, these fans don't see the bigger picture and end up trying to discredit others just because they're not seeing that their favorite artists on the Billboard Top 100 charts. And even if they aren't in the top 100s, they still feel the need to make a comment about it because it's not their glorious GOAT. It's a manifestation of fear of the unknown, fear of inadequacy, fear that the world isn't as fair or predictable as they want to be. People like to believe success is fair, that if you put in the effort and you'll get what you deserve. But when someone, especially a black woman, blows up, why is she here? What's the point of her being here? They make up the fucking story like she didn't earn this. She was handed everything. It's easier to tear somebody down than to ask why you're not winning like them. Insecure people always find ways to project their own failures onto someone else. But here's the truth. You can't fake real success. You can't manufacture love, demand attention, or force a culture to embrace you. Labels can't throw money at an artist, but if the audience isn't interested, it's a lost investment. No label, no executive, no hidden industry cabal is going to bet on an artist that doesn't pay back the dough what they put in. That's why making it out is so damn hard, because if you don't generate real value, then you don't last. So the idea of an industry plant is a coping mechanism, a security blanket for people who don't want to accept the reality that hunger and ambition and sheer willpower can take you further than the talent alone. It's not the masses who fear this, it's the ones that never tried, the ones who gave up, the ones who would rather believe that the system is rigged than admit that they aren't willing to do what it takes. Doechii, being the main focus of this video, will be called out a plant and get told that her music sounds like this nerdy theater kid band class music, when it's ironic because the same people who say that are the most boring people who have no fucking color in their life. Of course, Doechii isn't the only black artist who gets called an industry plant, but since it's still a topic people like to bring up frequently, why not bring up some of their accomplishments throughout the years? Alright, so let's do some quick math. Doechii's first single was in 2016 and her most recent single is in 2025. That means she's been grinding for 9 years, networking, marketing, and putting in the work. And I'm not sure if y'all remember this, but this isn't even the first time she blew up. Back in 2022 and 23, everyone was fucking blasting what it is, oh, what's up, every good girl needs a little thought. Oh my god. That was Doechii, and before that was 2019's viral hit Spooky Coochie. You see, she's always been an artist. Just because you haven't been paying attention doesn't mean she wasn't putting in the work. For as long as you've been alive, standing out has been a problem. Being too different made you a target. Just being too loud, too reckless, too ghetto. Hip-hop and rap were built for the people who didn't fit in. It was an outlet, a way to express themselves without apology. And that's exactly what Doechii is doing. For a culture that thrives on creativity, y'all sure love to surround yourselves with hollow, recycled ideas. If you think Doechii's music is trash, well, you're just boring to me. I don't know what to tell you. There's a difference between having a preference and just talking out your ass. Hip-hop was never just music. It was a movement born from struggle, built on resilience, and meant to inspire. It came from the streets, from the people society overlooked, giving a voice to the voiceless. It was never meant to be exclusive. It was never meant to gatekeep who was real and who wasn't. It was meant to unite. But somewhere along the way, people forgot. Instead of celebrating those who break through, they tear them down, especially when they don't fit the mold of what is expected. When a black woman like Doechii rises, moving differently, creating freely, people don't just question her, they discredit her. Not because she isn't talented, not because she doesn't put in the work, but because internalized bias tells them she isn't supposed to be there. The irony? Hip-hop was built for the different, the loud, the outcast, the one who refused to be quiet, but dared to take up space. If hip-hop is supposed to be about expression or about pushing boundaries, then why do we keep tearing down the very people who embody that spirit? Why do we let insecurity and bias turn a culture of creativity into a battlefield of empty arguments? Hip-hop is supposed to bring people together, to inspire, to uplift, to change the world that the way it already has. But first, we have to let go of the idea that success only belongs to certain people. Hip-hop isn't a closed door, it's an open stage. And the ones who truly get it, they don't waste the time arguing about who deserves the mic. They just listen and enjoy the music. It's been Redacted, God bless, and have a good rest of your day.
I'll give you 3 reasons. 1, she's a female. 2, she's not a boy. And 3, and most importantly, she's a